fight that stood out the most to me was Jeison Rosario versus
Jermell Charlo.
Jermell Charlo. I like that fight. It's something about it, and this is what I would say. Rosario, in a lot of ways, is improving. We've seen him on the big stage one time. Unbelievable performance in that one time, but in a lot of ways, he's improving, especially compared to Charlo. But I love the fact that all the belts are on the line. I love the fact that one fighter is leaving the ring unified champion, and I hear that there's a ring belt on the line as well. The matchup isn't crazy intriguing, but it's enough for me to say, look at that Showtime lineup and say, dang, this might be the best fight out there. You know, so I'm excited to see that one.
Would you have to say Jermell's the favorite in that fight?
Yeah. No, you have to say he's the favorite in that fight. I expect him to win, but I mean, I am excited. I'm intrigued. I don't know all the ins and outs yet. I haven't looked at every fighter, ups and downs, yada yada yada. Obviously, I've seen Charlo for a long time, but I like that fight.
What do you think of Jermell these days? He came off a hell of a fight with Harrison, knocked him out. That was a really fun fight to watch, and man, but he's got a hell of an intensity to him right now.
Yeah.
Just what are your thoughts of him right now?
I think that's what makes him. That's what makes both Charlos. Both Charlos have this intensity about them, and
I think maybe even more than Jermall though.
This adrenaline that just kind of shoots through their body. I think that's really what makes them. I think that takes them to the ring. That energy is just different. I think some guys are intimidated by it. And we all know if you take one wrong step in the ring, that's all she wrote.
Want to get your preview of Jermell Charlo, Jeison Rosario. First of all, can you look in and break down that fight for us?
I feel like it's gonna be it's gonna be a good fight between those two. They're both heavy hitters, but I feel like Jermell Charlo will come out with the win because he's more athletic to me and he moves his feet more, and Rosario might not be able to catch up with him.
And is that
a fighter? And I feel like he's I wouldn't say he's the stronger or the bigger puncher, but I feel like he has more experience and he's been there before, so he'll be able to come out on top against Rosario.
Does it matter to you who wins that fight? Because if you win on Saturday, you will likely be next for the winner. Does it matter to you, or are you just chomping at the bit for that rematch with Charlo?
It really don't matter to me. I'm chasing those belts. I ain't chasing Charlo. I know he came out with the win against me, but I'm chasing those belts. And if he comes out on top, then that's who we gonna have to fight. And I'm looking forward to a rematch with Charlo anyway.
But for Jermell Charlo, who's main eventing the night, you know, unification, basically all the belts are on the line. Do you know Tony Harrison, Trout, John Jackson, these guys try to box Jermell and move. Do you think Jeison Rosario is gonna try and have a different game plan and go toe to toe?
Yeah, he's very strong. He's very strong himself. You know, a very good puncher, heavy-handed. You know, but I know that his trainer Derek is a very, very good trainer, and he'll have him prepared for Saturday night. Anything that Rosario brings, I expect that fight to also end in a knockout too.
For which fighter?
I expect Jermell to stop him.
Were you there? I know that was a card you promoted, I'm pretty sure, the night Gallimore was able to knock out.
Yeah.
Did you watch that fight ringside?
Yeah. It was a very good fight. Again, all these are entertaining matchups. Again, this is a pay-per-view steal.
Is he chinny? Rosario?
I wouldn't say that. I would not say that. I know that there are some things that they'll be able to exploit in the fight. And again, I expect that fight to go, you know, to later rounds, and with Mel's ability to make adjustments. I think that, you know, coming down the stretch, he'll stop him.
You know, if it turns to a shootout, you know, exchanges, does Jermell have the crisper, shorter punches?
Yeah, and again, he's gained invaluable experience in these tough fights that he's had. You know, in the Harrison fight, you know, Tony was winning the fight, and He took his eye off the prize, you know, and that's kind of what happens sometimes when, you know, he came up a little short. But again, at 54, I mean, everybody can bump. Everybody can fight. Everybody can fight. And that's why I think Mel wants to send a clear message to the other guys that, like, he's that guy. You know, he's the guy that everybody, he wants to wipe out the division. You know, he wants to make that big statement Saturday night, you know, and what better way to do it, you know, to have 3 belts.
Is Jermell, you know, and obviously Jermall too, but one of the most explosive guys in boxing, just, you know, not even talking skills and all that, just explosiveness.
Yeah, yes he is. He's very, extremely explosive. And again, he's been getting a lot of experience, you know, in these good fights with very good fighters. You know, and that's the advantage. One of the advantages I think that he'll have coming into this fight. You know, he's been in there with all the top guys. He's been in there with the top guys at 54. And there's still other guys, top guys, that are gunning for him that he hasn't fought. You know, but that's what happens when you're the guy in the division, and you know, you talking the talk and walking the walk. So, you know, but I expect him to get it done in impressive fashion Saturday night.
Спасибо за вопрос. Чарло и Розарио, я думаю, у Чарло есть шанс много, поэтому у него есть как-то вот это весу, очень сильный удар. Ну, это бокс, все случится, может, Розарио тоже попадет. Ну, это посмотрим, когда бой будет. Ну, мы постараемся сейчас Лару, идем в Лару.
So the fight in between Charlo and Rosario is a great fight. It's a difficult matchup. I don't like to predict too much, but I think that Charlo has the edge in this fight because of his power and experience. But this is boxing, and you never can predict you know, what's going to happen. Rosario can land one punch and everything can go opposite way, you know. So I will give the edge to, I will never rid off you know, Rosario.
Do you think Jermell wins that fight against Rosario, or
I don't know. It's debatable because nobody thought he was going to beat
J-Rock?
Nobody thought he was going to beat J-Rock. So you can't count him out. You definitely can't count him out. But I definitely think it's going to be a knockout between one of them because both of them coming straight forward. Like, you never seen neither one of them really box. So I think somebody going to get knocked out.
The one in your division, Charlo and Rosario. How do you look at that fight?
That's a great fight. I think that's a fight where, you know, they both have power in their hands. And I could see it basically being whoever maybe lands first. I think this one could be a really, you know, kind of knockdown, drag-out type of fight. They both have power, and they're both not really going anywhere. So really, it's whoever connects first. I give the edge to Charlo, obviously. I think that he's just, you know, more established. Rosario just had the upset win. So you could see him coming in with that momentum and maybe being just at the top of his game. But when somebody only has, you know, that first upset big win, you know, there's still questions about him. You know, there's still questions about how he's going to do in the next fight, if he's going to be a one-hit wonder or if he's going to be here to stay. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And, you know, I'm picking Charlo probably. And I think that, but really I think it's whoever lands the big shot first and gets the momentum of the fight early.
You think that the way Rosario fights, coming to go to war, everyone who's really fought Charlo as a champion has tried to box him, you know? Whether it was Trout or
Right.
Harrison. Like, do you think that's a style Charlo will like, or maybe man, for the first time, that he's going to be in there with a guy who can throw bombs just like him. How do you think?
It's a very good question.
Style for Jermell?
It's a very good question because, you know, when a guy like you saw Wilder is used to just being the bully in every fight, and then he gets bullied, it can kind of play on their psyche a little bit. And Rosario's not a guy I don't think he's going to come out looking to, punch and move or pot shot. So I think that could be something that maybe could get into his head eventually, you know, so or maybe get into his head early on if it's not going the way he thinks it would. And I know, you know, Charlo's somebody who definitely prides himself on being somebody who is the bully in there and in charge in there. So if Rosario can come in and flip that around, I think that's his best bet.
Do you see Jermell's fight going with Rosario? He's trying to unify.
He might stop him. I think he might stop Rosario.
Why is that?
Something just telling me. Nah, I ain't see dude. I seen him fight J-Rock, and I seen one more fight, I think. He can punch, but that's not the style to really beat Charlo. Like, Charlo got a granite chin, and he's strong, and he got skills too. I think that one, unless this kid got an iron chin, I don't really know. But anybody can be stopped, chin or not. If you get hit right or you fight the wrong way, you can get caught. If it'd be a stoppage, I think it'd be in that fight. Now the other from Charlo, I think will go the distance. But his fight, it could possibly be a knockout. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a knockout.
When a tall guy, because I know Rosario likes to throw power shots. He'll throw bombs. But when you're tall and long like that, does that give a guy like Charlo opportunities to get underneath that?
Well, it depends what kind of shots you throw. Because Hearns threw some heat, but he threw it the right way. It was explosive. It was fast. He was 6'1" at welterweight.
And it was
6'2".
down the middle, right?
Yeah, so if you throw them looping shots, you do that against Charlo, then it'd probably be an early night. But that kid could fight too, so at the same time, Charlo got to be careful. But they both kind of throw like big shots.
Right.
Neither one of them really shoot a lot of straights like that. But Charlo is dangerous. When you fight that way, you try to put heat on him, he end up getting it.
So you would advise a guy try to box.
Oh,
a guy,
yeah.
like don't, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Like we seen him fight
Tony.
Yeah. That's an excellent boxer. So he box. But when you slow down, play with him, or try to sit in there with him, all it takes is one shot for Charlo. He can be down in the fight. He get that one in, it's over. Same as that guy though, Rosario.
Yeah.
Can't play with him, he hungry. He just be the excellent fighter in J-Rock. So his confidence is up. And he know if he win his fight, he gonna be on the mountaintop. He could probably move up and get a fight with Canelo. So everybody want that sweepstakes. So he coming to win for sure.
And what was crazy about Jermell in that last fight, when he dropped Harrison, he actually ate a shot like nothing.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he gonna do that against him.
Right.
Dude, a bigger puncher.
Right.
I think Tony got a lot more skills than Rosario. Styles make fights, man. You can never look at it like this guy beat that guy, so that guy can beat this guy. Somebody can wake up on the wrong side of the bed. You have a bad night. Everybody have bad nights. But Charlo is just one of them guys that, man, you sit in with him and you're gonna have a long night.
You gonna be checking out that Charlo doubleheader next Saturday?
Yeah, of course. I like those guys. They got talent. Of course, I'm gonna be watching.
I remember a couple years back, you said those guys got maybe the best jab in boxing. One of them. You still feel like that?
I like Jermall. Jermall, that's my boy. He's strong. He got a good jab. Be watching him train and stuff, so I like him.
Well, let's start with his fight. How do you think his fight goes with Derevyanchenko? Sergiy, remember he fought Triple G last.
He's tough. He with the snack program, so of course he's gonna come in shape. But Jermall, I know he got the talent going there to his team.
You think coming in with that aggressive style he has will play into Jermall's hands actually, or?
I mean, I feel like everybody's game plan against him is try to go in there and try to put the pressure on him. I feel like he can punch so hard that if one punch can change the whole fight.
Go ahead, keep working, champ.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, but I'm asking because we saw that big counter uppercut he landed against Williams. Do you think he could get a similar shot off like that with the way Derevyanchenko's coming?
Derevyanchenko, whatever his name is, you can't go in there and sleep on him. He come in the fight, he come in shape. Nobody has just pitched a shutout against him, so it's possible to be like a fight of the year type of fight.
Do you think he may have an advantage going into the fight because he's fought the Jacobs and the Golovkins lately?
I mean, not advantage because they both have fought top guys, and Jermall is a top guy himself, so you can't say, oh, he fought other top guys, so he has an advantage because Jermall is one of the top guys too, so you can't say that.
I would like to be the one to beat Charlo, but I feel as though I'm not going to get that opportunity because Sergiy is going to be the one to beat him. Sergiy has all the goods, all the tools and everything that is necessary to beat Charlo, but at the same time, Sergiy is going up against not just Charlo, but he's going against the judges and the officials, and it may not be in his favor. They may not see it if it goes to the distance. It may not be in his favor. He ought to look for a dominating performance, nothing close, and shut the fight out. I mean, look at it against Daniel Jacob and Triple G. Those two fights were very close, and he still ended up on the shitty end of the stick. But hey, hope that he is able to pull it off. If not, I'll get the job done. Charlo come this way. I definitely would knock his head off.
I'm really looking forward to the Jermall Derevyanchenko fight. I think that fight ends in a knockout also. He obviously is bringing lots of experience to the table. I thought he lost the Triple G fight. Danny Jacobs fight, he fought a good fight. One thing I do know, he will be prepared because Andre Rozier is a tremendous trainer. So I know he'll have him ready to go. But I just think overall with Jermall's just his physical strength, his boxing IQ, and his ability to get it done. And this is the moment that he's been waiting for, actually both the brothers, to be on the big stage, to show out. And I think that fight ends in a knockout, probably in the middle of the fight.
So you actually thought Derevyanchenko, you thought Golovkin won that fight? A lot of people thought Derevyanchenko.
No, did I say?
Yeah, I think you may have said you thought Golovkin won the fight, but so you had Derevyanchenko winning the fight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
But stylistically, is Jermall Charlo kind of wrong for Derevyanchenko? He likes
totally.
Yeah. Why is that, Leonard?
Yeah, totally. Because again, in those two fights, you see how he came out, and he was dropped in both of those fights in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that the way that Jermall has been preparing, he's just an animal, and I expect him to get him out of there in the middle of the fight.
Stylistically though, what makes Jermall wrong for Derevyanchenko? Because I know Derevyanchenko's aggressive. He comes in to throw combinations.
Well,
that's even worse than Golovkin or Jacobs was stylistically. What is it about Jermall?
Well, again, he has everything what it takes. He has tremendous his skill set, and with Derevyanchenko being very aggressive, that plays right into Jermall's his strengths.
Well, I mean, the best highlight of his career was the counter uppercut with J-Rock, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was a tremendous punch, and again, both the Charlos have great IQ. They always come in tremendous physical condition, and again, I think that with all those attributes that Maul has, it'll just be too much. He'll overwhelm Derevyanchenko in the middle of the fight.
Well, I brought up the Williams shot because, as you know, it was a counter shot. You think those type of counter shots will be available, and being that, like you said, Derevyanchenko's aggressive.
All day long.
Mm-hmm.
All day long.
So I just checked the odds today for the Sergiy fight. I thought that Sergiy might have opened up as an underdog. Turns out that it's dead even. So the bookies are guessing that it should be a close fight.
Oh, without a doubt.
How do you feel that fight plays out?
Sergey's last fight, I believe his last fight was against Triple G.
Yeah.
He dominated. I thought he won hands down. And the other fighter, I thought he lost.
Right, against Kovalev. Korobov.
Right, I watched that fight live. I thought it was close, but Korobov pinpointed the shots. I thought he lost. So I feel like that was the blueprint. So Sergiy, he's gonna come up with a good plan. He's the technician. I think he's gonna take it hands down.
The other fight that night, well, not the main event, the other fight that night, Derevyanchenko, kind of same thing. He's going to be coming after the big Charlo. How do you see that fight going?
Yeah, man, that's a great fight. Great fight. I think that it's less of a factor in the big Charlo fight, and I don't really know why. I think more of just not necessarily that much difference in style from the older and the younger brother, but from just a mentality. It seems like he's a little bit more laid back, maybe, just by, a slight margin. And I think that him, it'll be less of a factor of him, having a guy. And plus, he knows that guy's just going to come in and he's going to be all over him. They're probably going to plan for that. I don't think that Rosario is somebody who's going to make Charlo be like, I need to box, Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's going to be like, I'm just going to go in and knock him out. Where big Charlo, I feel like he's like, this guy's going to come forward. He's a short, stocky Russian fighter that is not going backwards. So they're probably going to be thinking more about, game plan in that way. And then they're also with different trainers, if I'm not wrong. Big Charles with Ronnie Shields. There's going to be different, game plan. I feel like Derek James in their camp, they don't really, back away or back down from anybody. It seems like they're all just going in for the kill. So it seems like that's more their mentality.
Yeah, and when you're more relaxed, it's easier to be a counter puncher, right? I'm talking about Big Charlo. You know what? We're gonna start calling him Big Charlo because Jermell will fight me for that. But
yeah, but yes, he seems more. Yeah, exactly. It's easier to counter punch when you're more laid back, easier to box. When Charlo comes in, and he's just ready to kill. Right. So if somebody can withstand it and then keep coming forward, then we'll see. And he might be able to deal with it fine. It's just a question. So
Charlo and Derevyanchenko, what do you think of that fight?
Man, that might be the best matchup, I think, since the whole pandemic. I think it's the best fight. It's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to go 12 rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody hit the mat. I don't see it being a knockout, but I think it's going to be, both of those guys, they both can box, but they both kind of stationary a little bit, so it's going to be a good fight. Both of them like to throw bombs. They both got power. They both, dude is real accurate, Derevyanchenko. He's smart, he pick his shot. Charlo is long, he got the reach advantage. I think he's probably the better boxer on the outside. Man, that's going to be a good fight. I'm going to definitely be watching it.
You think that Derevyanchenko being an aggressive guy at times, that's going to give Charlo a chance to land a counter punch, a bomb like the J Rock shot?
Switch it up though. You never know how he gonna come in, how he gonna come at him, but it also could present problems because either one of them like to back up.
Right.
They both the ones that used to going forward. So to me, neither one of them like to go backwards. So that might cause a problem for both of them but that's what makes for a great fight. None of them giving neither one of them won't want to let the other one dictate the ring. I'm sure they're gonna be both all night going at each other. So, man, it's going to be a good fight. It could possibly, I think it's probably the best fight since the pandemic.
Does it benefit Derevyanchenko at all that the last year or two he's been able to get in the ring with Golovkin and Jacobs while Jermall hasn't been able to have that kind of competition lately?
That's an advantage for sure because a lot of people thought he could have got the decision versus Golovkin. And Golovkin, we know he's an animal, so I'm looking forward to it, man. It's one of them fights where it could be a coin toss.
What if you had to go either way, though?
Either way. I haven't seen a lot of Derevyanchenko, so it's hard to dictate it, but...
You just saw the Jacobs and Triple G fights?
Yeah, I seen the highlights. I seen, like, the highlights of Jacobs' fight with him, but I think it's one of them fights that damn near could be a draw. To where at the end you could say this guy won and I think that guy won. It's one of them type fights. I think it could be like a drawish type fight.